I was in a stage of my program personally where I was desperately seeking a higher power. I was looking for something I could hold on to, something I could really hang my hat on. And this call from Abel came at this. It converged at the same time that I really wasn't interested in acting. So I'd given up on trying to be an actor. I was really going to go get a job at Home Depot, like trim bonsai trees. I was straight out of rehab. I was sort of aimlessly driving around the country, living in my truck because I didn't want to go home because my house was empty. My wife wasn't with me. I had no family. My family wouldn't talk to me. I had no friends. My friends had abandoned me. I was full of shame and spiraling into a very dark place when the call came in. So because of the amount of pain I was involved in and suffering that was going on in my life, aimless suffering, mind you, didn't really know what the point of the suffering was. I was living in deep resentment and regret and shame. And then this came to my doorstep, and it felt like, even before I knew about Christ and how he works or PO or any of this, it felt like something from on high. It felt like celestial mathematics or something I really couldn't actually. The coincidence of it all felt almost supernatural.
What an incredible testimony, right? And how common is that? You hear about these people who are seemingly on the outside, just absolutely on top of the world, but on the inside, in their private lives, the complete opposite is true. And God reaches these people in their darkest places when they've got nothing left to give. And God gave Shia, through completely supernatural, like coincidence or whatever it is, a real God-fearing discipling community, which he speaks more about here. Let's listen in.
Hanging out with all of these men, talking about the gospel, asking them ridiculous, stupid questions. I mean, very secular questions. Do you guys smoke weed? Why don't you masturbate? Things that are questions that under normal circumstances you couldn't ask a priest. But these were questions I was asking of my friends, which allowed me to get even more into the marrow of the bone, ask even more severe questions that were kind of socially uncouth. Questions that I needed answered for myself. Do you ever have bouts where you feel like you're talking to yourself in your prayer? Do you ever hear the voice of God? What does that sound like? Do you have audible hallucinations? Do you feel schizophrenic as opposed to a religious person? Question that a secular person would ask of a friar in a way where it almost felt like I was asking family at that point. That was my faith journey, and really my way into playing Pio was falling in love with Christ in a very real way.
And these next clips, and I don't know why he's always recording these from his car, but more power to him, show just how deeply he fell in with God, with Christ. I know there will be plenty of Christians' comments criticizing him for getting into Catholicism, but I just want us to put aside those divides for a minute and really hear what I can only conclude is a genuine broken heart for Jesus. Listen to this and let me know what you think.
For a flawed man like me, to fall all the way in love with Christ, it's almost a statistic. I almost have become like what I always railed against. It's almost cheesy how real it's become for me. And if I wasn't me and I was on the outside looking in, of course he had a come to Jesus moment. Of course, I get the rolling of the eyes from the nones or the non-believers or the atheistics. I understand because I was that. But it's what happened. And to deny it is not real. I mean, this saved my life. This isn't just a film for me. This was an opportunity to fall in and have an all-access pass to the gospel and the church and Christ in a way that I've never, though it was available, I had never had the instinct or the compunction to do so.
Do you think I've noticed that just when you find God, you feel like you know yourself better. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you know yourself better now that you...
Yeah, I had no idea who I was previous. I mean, I was just living for more achievement, more goals, more animal instinct, pleasure-seeking, selfish, self-centered, dishonest, completely inconsiderate of other people. If I was a nice guy, it was for an end. I had no charity in my life. There was no, I was a tolerant man. These things aren't tolerance is a strictly Jewish thing. Uh, Full blown acceptance is a Christian thing. And when you really ride with that, life is a joy. It's a pleasure. Even the tough stuff feels like a gift. It's like a hack. It's like a complete suffering hack. So once you've gotten the hack, once you feel fully embraced by God, there is no suffering. I mean, even the suffering feels like a gift. That's not in a masochistic sense, but in a purposeful sense. So I was blessed in the way that I entered the faith, and the way I was seduced into my love affair with Christ. It was a full blown seduction, front to back, and I'm still in it. I guess my message to a non-believer would be, I wish you profound, extended pain, the kind of pain that destroys all your plans, that allows you to open up to an incredible life full of joy and harmony and happiness and purpose and connection, unlike anything I've ever experienced before. That your suffering is meaningful. It's actually a gift. That this kind of pain draws you away from worldly clamors and brings you closer to God. And if you can really heed that message, there's an incredible life on the other side, full of unbelievable joy and connection and purpose, the likes of which I never found in the Hollywood system or in the success animal-driven, animal instinct, pleasure-driven life. It's a bit like forgiveness. You don't feel forgiveness and then forgive a person. You forgive a person and feel the forgiveness. Suffering's a bit like that. It's, when you're in it and you have a really micro view of what's going on, there's no way you can enjoy it. But when you zoom out a little bit and recognize that you've been chosen, that you've been picked, that God's basically saying, come here, I love you. Once you can really get down with that idea, fully adapt to that idea, it really removes suffering, which really is, I think, the point of Christianity. The point of Christianity is to be loved and to trust a power greater than you that can handle all of your problems. The message of the movie is that God loves you and he's cheating in your favor.